I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. Gareth Southgate's not to blame for England's disastrous start to Euro 24. I'm serious. He's not to blame. English media, Premier League, some fans as well are to blame for England's troubled start. Why? Because we keep on saying Premier League is the best league in the world. But what you fail to forget is the Premier League is not full of English players. The Premier League is not full of English managers. The Premier League really and truly doesn't help England's national team whatsoever. So as you're watching this, really and truly think about what I'm saying. And while you do that, I'm Ty Knight here for TK24 Sports. And if you haven't subscribed to the show yet, now's a good time to do it. Like, subscribe, turn that notification on so you don't miss shows coming up like this. What you're quickly seeing is going to be dropping very soon before the season starts, should I say. Before the season starts. Let's get back into it. So, Gareth Southgate is not to blame. Everyone knew that Gareth Southgate wasn't great. Everyone knows, if you've got a memory, if you're old enough like me, I'm 43, who remembers when England were in the Euros and they played Germany, semi-finals, penalty shootout, who flopped and made us go out? Gareth Southgate. That's right. Some of you are not even old enough to remember this. And some of you who are old enough should have known this guy. If he can get us kicked out as a player, he's going to get us kicked out as a manager. And that's just the truth of it. Nothing against him. I'm not saying he's rubbish. He's just not that great. I'm not saying he's the worst, but he's part of the worst bunch. Look at the way England play. Look at the way he does his tactical analysis. Look at what he said after the game last night. I don't have a Kalvin Phillips replacement. That tells you everything you need to know about Gareth Southgate. He's a defensive-minded coach. I'm not going to say manager, I'm going to say coach, because he coaches his team. He doesn't manage the team. He just coaches it with his buddies. And at the end of all of this, the only thing I can really and truly say is that when they do replace him after this tournament, and they better replace him after this tournament, the whole backroom staff has to go. It's got to be a clean sweep for the World Cup. That's the next big tournament coming up, the World Cup. That gives England time. That gives the FA time to really and truly reshape this national team. There's a few things that need to happen for their last game because England are not through. They do not have one foot through the door. Believe me when I tell you this, the next two games are a banana skin. They really and truly are. England can end up finishing third if they do not win. If they lose and the other two teams win, they can finish third. And then they have to go into the playoffs just to get through to the knockout stages. I'm telling you, it's a possibility. Now, here's the other scary thing is, he may still play this team, the same team that's played the last two games, didn't do nothing in the first game. Second game was a snooze fest. Everyone knows it. When England scored, you're thinking, oh, okay, cool, yeah, they scored 1-0, woo, Harry Kane. Everyone's going, oh, Harry Kane's back, he's back. He scored a goal, this is what he does. Harry Kane is rubbish. He's rubbish for England. And pretty much, he's lost something. He's lost his spark. He's not the Harry Kane that we saw in the Premier League 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons ago. He's not that guy. He drops 50, 60, 70 yards back into the pitch trying to pick up the ball, trying to stay into the game, wants to get his touches. But he can't stay on the last shoulder. He can't spin round. He can't move to the left. He can't move to the right. Harry Kane really and truly is part of the problem. Then you've got the Jude Bellingham problem. Then you've got the Phil Foden problem. And my goodness, you've got the Trent Alexander problem. Now, this is again the problem with the Premier League and the English media who hype up Trent, saying, well, he can't defend very well, but my gosh, he can play some beautiful balls. His crossfield balls are so good. His long range passing. Okay, that's cool. But what else can he do? That's about it, really. So you don't really need that. What you need to do is drop Jude Bellingham back into midfield. Put Phil Foden from the left into the centre. Phil Foden, my goodness. I mean, yeah, player of the season in the Premier League. And again, this is the problem. Phil Foden plays in a Premier League team, Manchester City, full of internationals, not full of English players, full of internationals. If you think about it, the three starters for England are Kyle Walker. You've got John Stones in there. He's a starter for Manchester City. And Phil Foden. Apart from that, those two other players that I mentioned play at the back. They don't play in front of him. In front of him or alongside him, he's got Erling Haaland, he's got Kevin De Bruyne, he's got Bernardo Silva, all foreign players playing for respectively decent teams. okay, respectively. That's the problem. Put Phil Foden where he was basically all night, just operating as a number 10 next to Jude Bellingham. What was he? A 10.5 as a position? You just don't know. I'm stumbling my words pretty much like Gareth Southgate is stumbling his career as well as the other players. It's so simple. And then you've got two players on the wings with left foot who are left-footed. There's no balance at all whatsoever. And unless Gareth Southgate has said, do what you do for City, but what I want you to do is just drift inside, or just do what you do. Yeah? Saka, do what you do for Arsenal. What do you do for Arsenal? Oh, you just stay wide. Okay, yeah, just do what you do. Declan Rice, I want you to stay back like you do for Arsenal. And Declan Rice is pretty much saying, I don't stay back. I'm on the left now. I don't stay back as much. That's the problem. Gareth Southgate and his backroom team do not have a clue. They're clueless. They are easy fixes and it can be done. And as much as we're all upset and angry and pointing the finger at Gareth Southgate, because we can, you also got to look at the players and say, some of you guys are pretty good. But then again, are we really seeing just how not good you are? Because you're playing in teams, in your club teams, who are full of internationals who are bloody good. And they are propping you up. Maybe that's the problem. It's a bit of both. That Gareth Southgate is a big of the problem, and the players are a fraction of the problem. The coaching staff are a fraction of the problem. You can look at the FA, because yes, they appointed him. They one of the biggest paid international managers out there. I just think it's simple for the next game. You've got to drop Harry Kane. You've got to put Phil Foden then as a number 10. Figure out who you're going to put on the left-hand side. Saka's going to stay in his position. Rice is going to stay. Bellingham's going to stay. You've got to drop Trent straight away. I mean, he's cool as a right back or a right wing back or a right inverted, whatever he does at Liverpool, but he can't do it for Liverpool because he doesn't play in that position for Liverpool. Just because you've got an idea in your head as a player, as who you are, you're thinking, that's what I can do, doesn't mean that is actually what you can do. So, if Kyle Walker's your right back, Trent, you're on the bench. Bring in a player in the midfield. Like I said, Bellingham just drops back for me. Foden goes in as a number 10. And then you figure out who you want to put on the left. My only other thing is, why isn't Cole Palmer had even a second on the pitch? He's not even had a second. The only thing he's had on the pitch is doing a warm-up. The guy scored over 20 goals in the Premier League. Quite a few penalties, but who cares? Over 20 goals in the Premier League, and he cannot get on the pitch. That surprises me. That really, I mean, I'm shocked. And maybe you could figure out, maybe put Cole Palmer on the left. You could even put Saka on the left and put Cole Palmer on the right. Southgate, I mean, it's... Am I lost for words? Not really, because should anyone really be surprised? No. Are you surprised? No. So that's why you need to like, subscribe, and turn that notification on so you don't miss shows like this coming up very soon before the season starts. But please, honestly, leave your comments below. Who would you drop? Who would you start? If you drop Harry Kane, because I think you need to drop Harry Kane, bring in Ivan Toney or bring in Ollie Watkins. They'll offer much more than what Harry Kane does. But the other caveat to that is they're all scared now. The third game is so important. These players are scared to make mistakes. You saw Eze last night. He came on the pitch. My God, he looked dreadful. Jared Bowen looked dreadful. Actually, everyone just looked dreadful last night. They really and truly did. Everyone looked dreadful. No one knew what to do. It was almost like they just want to get back home. I bet Ben White's at home right now. Well, actually, in that FIFA, laughing, going, that's why I ain't with these fools. There's a problem. Gareth Southgate's got to go after this tournament. He can't lead England into the World Cup. He just can't. That's if we even get to the World Cup, that is. Anyway, I'm Ty Knight here for TK24 Sports. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, turn that notification on. Mission, of course, is to get to 1,500 subscribers by the time the league starts. Let's make it happen.